The untold saga of Peter Osgood, Chelsea's rebel king on a frigid March morning in 2006. A family funeral in Slough marked the abrupt end of a footballing legend's life. Peter Osgood, known to fans as Ossie, collapsed from a heart attack. At just 59 years old, his sudden death was not merely the loss of a man, but the closing chapter of a complex, gritty tale of a footballer whose brilliance and defiance defined an era. Osgood wasn't just a player. He was the pulsating soul of Chelsea Football Club. A working-class hero whose journey from street kid to Stamford Bridge icon was marred by betrayal, institutional power plays, and an unyielding spirit that refused to be tamed. His story is one of triumph, exile, and redemption, a narrative that reveals the cost of authenticity in a world that demands conformity. Born in 1947 in the heart of Chelsea's working-class streets, Peter Osgood grew up in a world far removed from privilege. The concrete pavements of West London were his first pitch, where a young boy with a ball at his feet found escape from the grind of everyday life. Football wasn't just a game for Osgood, it was a lifeline, a way to rise above the limitations of his circumstances. Chelsea Football Club spotted his raw talent early, signing him as a teenager in 1964. But Osgood was no polished prodigy. His early years were defined by a rebellious streak that would shape his career and legacy. Under the guidance of manager Tommy Docharty, Osgood's potential began to shine. Docharty saw past the defiance that others labeled as trouble, recognizing a rare talent waiting to be unleashed. At 6 feet tall, Osgood combined physicality with an almost poetic grace on the ball. His first team debut in 1965 marked the beginning of a transformative era for Chelsea. He wasn't just a striker, he was a performer, capable of moments of brilliance that left defenders stunned and fans in awe. His breakthrough came in the 1969-70 FA Cup final against Leeds United, a match that would cement his legend. Trailing 1-2-0, Chelsea needed a hero. Osgood delivered. Rising into the air as if defying gravity, he headed home an equalizer that shifted the momentum. Chelsea went on to win 2-1 in the replay, and Osgood, dubbed the Prince of Stamford Bridge, became a household name. Between 1964 and 1974, he scored 150 goals for Chelsea. But statistics alone could never capture his essence. Osgood's game was a blend of skill, swagger, and defiance, a middle finger to the conventional football of the time. He wasn't just playing. He was performing, embodying the rebellious spirit of Chelsea's fanbase. Osgood's brilliance on the pitch was matched only by his refusal to conform off it. His flamboyant lifestyle, late nights, social scenes, and a reputation as a playboy made him a cultural icon but also a target. Enter Dave Sexton, Chelsea's manager from 1967, whose methodical, disciplined approach clashed violently with Osgood's free-spirited nature. Sexton was a tactician, obsessed with structure and control. Osgood, by contrast, saw football as art, not a military exercise. Their conflict was inevitable, a collision between two irreconcilable philosophies. The tension wasn't just professional. It was deeply personal. Sexton disapproved of Osgood's off-field antics, using his lifestyle as a weapon to undermine him. Training sessions turned into battlegrounds, with Osgood openly resisting Sexton's rigid demands. "I'm not a robot," he reportedly told teammates, a statement that encapsulated his belief in football as an expression of individuality. Sexton's response was calculated and ruthless. He began sidelining Osgood, reducing his playing time and criticizing him in team meetings. The psychological warfare was designed to break the striker's spirit, to force him into submission. The breaking point came in 1974, in a move that shocked the football world. Sexton transfer-listed Osgood, Chelsea's most iconic player. The man who had delivered their first FA Cup was cast aside. Southampton signed him, and Osgood went from being the Prince of Stamford Bridge to an exile. The transfer was more than a professional transaction. It was a betrayal. Fans were outraged. Teammates divided. Some saw Sexton's point, appreciating his tactical vision. Others recognized the human cost of his authoritarian approach. "They tried to break me," Osgood later said, "but they couldn't take away who I was." His exile only amplified his legend, turning him into a symbol of resistance against institutional control. If Osgood's transfer was a wound, what followed years later was a deeper cut. In the 1990s, under the controversial chairmanship of Ken Bates, Osgood faced an unthinkable humiliation. He was banned from Stamford Bridge. The reason? Speaking out against the club's mismanagement. Bates, a businessman known for his iron-fisted control, saw Osgood's criticism as a threat. The ban wasn't just a policy. It was a deliberate attempt to erase a legend. Osgood, who had given his heart and soul to Chelsea, was now persona non grata at the stadium that once roared his name. The football community was split. Some backed Bates, arguing that former players shouldn't meddle in club affairs. Others saw the ban as an act of institutional arrogance, a disgraceful way to treat a hero. For Chelsea fans, it was personal. Osgood wasn't just a player. He was their voice, their spirit. "They wanted to erase me," Osgood later reflected, "but you can't erase a legend." The ban became a dark chapter in Chelsea's history, a stark reminder of how institutions can turn on their own. Years later, in 2003, the ban was lifted. Osgood was invited back to Stamford Bridge in a hospitality role, a gesture of partial redemption, but the scars remained. His return was bittersweet, a moment of reconciliation tainted by the memory of betrayal. Osgood's story wasn't just about one man. It was about the broader struggle between individual spirit and institutional power. A tale of a club forgetting its roots and the hero who refused to be silenced. After leaving Chelsea, Osgood's life was a testament to resilience. Unlike today's multi-million-pound footballers, he faced financial struggles in his post-playing years. He took on various jobs, including a stint as a publican, but never lost his connection to the game. Through media appearances and fan events, he remained a beloved figure. In 2001, his induction into the Chelsea Hall of Fame was a long-overdue recognition of his contributions. To younger fans, he was a legend passed down through stories, a symbol of authenticity in a sport increasingly driven by commerce. Osgood's death in 2006 sent shockwaves through the football world. Collapsing at a family funeral, he was taken too soon, his heart giving out at 59. Chelsea, the club that had once banished him, now mourned him as a hero. Thousands of fans attended memorial services, wearing blue in tribute. In death, Osgood's legacy was fully embraced. His story, a reminder of what football could be: raw, human, and defiant. Peter Osgood's life was more than a footballing career. It was a rebellion against conformity. His journey mirrored the social upheavals of the 1960s and 1970s, an era when Britain's rigid class structures were giving way to new forms of expression. Footballers like Osgood weren't just athletes, they were cultural icons, symbols of a generation challenging authority. His playboy lifestyle, so despised by managers like Sexton, was a form of defiance, working-class kid living life on his terms, refusing to be confined by societal expectations. The clash with Sexton wasn't just about tactics. It was a generational divide. Sexton represented an older, militaristic approach to football, while Osgood embodied the emerging spirit of individuality. Chelsea Football Club, caught between tradition and transformation, became a microcosm of these broader tensions. Refusal to conform made him a hero to fans who saw themselves in his defiance. His goals, a celebration of creativity over control. His story resonates beyond football. It's a narrative of authenticity in the face of institutional power, of a man who refused to be reduced to a cog in a machine. Chelsea may have tried to erase him, but they failed. Osgood's legacy lives on in every fan who remembers his magic, every player who dares to play with freedom. When he died, he left behind more than a record of goals. He left a blueprint for what it means to be true to oneself. Peter Osgood. The Prince of Stamford Bridge was banned but never broken, forgotten by the club but never by the fans. His life was a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit, a reminder that true greatness cannot be controlled or erased. In the concrete jungle of Chelsea, a working-class kid became a king, and no institution could ever take that crown away.